So have you ever heard of the term go woke or go broke? Well, see, Activision is following in that footstep, just like Target and just like Bud Light. The reason why I'm talking about this is because my mom said something to me the other day, and then now my husband brought this up to me, and I'm just like, everything is getting canceled. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, but if you walk to a grocery store, it does no longer say the Hispanic section. It just says beans and rice. Why? Because calling it the Hispanic section is offensive. And there's a school here in California where I live that when they first created this school, they called it Plantation. When they first built this school, they decided to call it Plantation. Now, all of a sudden, now they have to call it something else because it's offensive? Really? If it was offensive, then why did you name it Plantation to begin with? Why did you even think that that name was such a radical, cool name to name a school then? Why even come up with that name? Why didn't you call it whatever you called it now? Because it has to be reborn because it's offensive. And there's a high school. They were called something else, and now they're called the Rebels because South High can't be called just whatever they were called because it's offensive. But now they're called South High Rebels because whatever their mascot was before was a rebel, was not offensive. I'm like, oh my god. So they canceled this guy, Nick Merch. If you guys don't know who Activision is, if you guys don't know, Call of Duty. That's who owns Activision, is Call of Duty. And sometimes these people promote and they pay these people and they promote them and they say, hey, we want to sponsor you. So they sponsor this guy, Nick Merch. And they have all his stuff in Call of Duty and all this stuff. Well, they're pulling it away all because he tweeted one little tweet that said, leave the children alone. That's it. He just tweeted, leave the children alone. And then there's a talk show host that I will not mention her name because I don't want to be like naming names because I think it's wrong. But I do not watch this show for that reason because I think it's stupid. In my opinion, they look like they don't got a brain. And no offense, I'm not trying to belittle them or be rude, but like, she literally came on this show and was like, there should be more black athletes so that athletes that are black can be empowered. As Mahone, who just won the Super Bowl, he's not black enough. Apparently Michael Jordan wasn't, was, or still is the ultimate greatest player because there's not enough black people. That's what she said. She said there's not enough black athletes. Oh, so Simone Biles is not considered the GOAT? It's like, she wasn't the greatest Olympian that there ever was. And she literally said this, and this was out of her own mouth, not mine. And I was like, wait, there is a lot of good athletes, and she's like, that are black, and that play for the NFL, and that play basketball. Like, Michael Jordan was one of them. B.J. Armstrong, Scottie Pippen, LeBron James, if you want to add him to the mix, Kobe Bryant, okay, Shaquille O'Neal. And then there was a lot of great athletes that are out there that were black that can play. Don't even get me started with Emmitt Smith. And he, to me, was a great player because not only did he play football, but Deion Sanders is a great player. Because not only did he play football, but he also played baseball. And if you didn't know that, now you know. Yeah. So tell me what athlete that you know can play baseball and football professionally twice. So one of them, he played football season, and then he went and played professional baseball for that. So, Michael Jordan tried it, and he didn't get to do it. But this football player, who happens to be black, just like Michael Jordan, did it. And she's sitting there saying that there's not enough good black athletes. Hello, there's plenty of good black athletes out there. It's not about black. It's not about white. It's not about purple. It's just about being a human and being a good athlete. When did it have to be about white or black? And when she said that, I was like, okay, she's woke. She's completely dumb. She's woke. Then she literally said something about when these kids, that young child that was murdered, which tragically it was wrong and it was sad, was murdered by cops. And she says that they should go out and murder all these. I'll try to find the video, but I don't think I can play it because it would be considered copyright. So I can't necessarily put it on. But she did say that it would be considered, she said that they should kill more white babies and see what would happen. She said they should go out there and kill white people, more white kids, and see what would happen. And I was like, you do realize it was black police officers that shot and killed this child. It wasn't a white cop, and it wasn't anybody. It was a black officer who killed this child. And it's like everything has to be offensive now. I wonder why when I walk into the grocery aisle at my store, I can't tell people where the Hispanic section is because it's offensive. No, I'm not allowed. Now it's called aisle 13, and you just say rice and beans. Pretty much. Because calling it the Hispanic section is being racist. So they took it out. And now it says just rice and beans. It doesn't say anything else because it's offensive. Just like how they took out the names of Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben and all these other stuff because it was offensive. Just like the school that I just talked about here in California. They started out, when they first built this school, they said they were going to name it Plantation, and they named it Plantation, and it was named Plantation for years. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, we can't have that name. It's offensive. We got to change it. Then why did you come up with that name in the first place? I don't know why. It boggles my mind. It just does. And then, same thing with South High, the school here in California. They had to change their mascot to the Rebels because the mascot they had, a Spartan, was offensive. A Spartan. It's offensive. It's offensive, people. I don't know how much annoying I can get, but this cancel culture thing is very annoying and it's very ridiculous. If I can tell you I love Jesus, I'll probably get canceled, but I don't care. And if I can sit there and say that, people are like, oh, you're a bigot, because I've been called that. Because they're like, oh, you're a Christian, you must not like people like us, you're a bigot. Says who? The guy that was canceled by Activision, he didn't call nobody out. He just literally said, leave the children alone. And Activision says we can't have that because we stand and support our people in pride. That's exactly what they said. They said pride, that they support them and that they have to stand with them. So what did he say that was so wrong? Can you guys explain that to me? Because I'm confused. Sorry that this video may annoy you, but I had to make this video because I'm speechless with, now we gotta worry about being canceled even on YouTube, because I've seen hundreds of people say they've been canceled. Famous YouTubers that have been on YouTube for centuries have been canceled for saying stuff like this. So we ought to see, because this is crazy. God did say that the end of times are near, and when they do come, crazy things will happen, and crazy things are happening. Be alert.